Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Drag Race RHAP here on Reality TV RHAP Ups. I'm your host, Liana Boris, and we are back. We are here to talk about season 14. We are previewing the queens in preparation for the upcoming season. Now, we have 14 queens, and we have season 14. So I don't have a good transition. I'm a little rusty. So let's just move into our panel.
Here comes our 14-hour podcast.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, it's like the Survivor, it's 26 days, one Survivor, one drag queen. Okay, so you have heard their beautiful voices talking about Dragula during doing some sort of Drag Race off-season coverage, but Dragula on-season coverage. First, let me welcome in the wonderful Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited. It is 2022. It is a new year, a new season, and I'm so excited to be back in the saddle with you two. This is going to be so much fun.
Giddy up. Yippee-ki-yay. Let's do this. All right. And the panel would not be complete without the fabulous Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I'm great. I am we know that season 13 was a long ass season and I was over it by the end of it. And yet here I am once again, all in for another season of Drag Race. Like, I didn't just do this 6 months ago. I'm super excited because, Drag Race, it just gets me every single time. So I'm super happy to be back. Glad to, as Beth said, be back in the saddle, back on the wagon.
It's that feeling of the fresh new queen's faces that just, I can't help but not be excited. You know what I mean? So here we are. We've got a lot of things to talk about. We will be doing a draft for the structure of the preview podcast. So we will each be drafting 3 members to our own personal teams. And then, wow, you, the audience, you get 2 members for yourself. How cool. They definitely won't be the last ones picked, but they will. So sorry. And then, I forgot to talk to Randy. Randy, hey, top 5 human. Randy, you want to do the scoring? Okay, thanks. Anyway, so it's been a long off season. So if you are checking us out on YouTube, fabulous. You can see our beautiful faces. If you are just listening to the podcast version, we also will be on YouTube. If you want to see some visual aids along the way or just our gorgeous faces, they will be there waiting for you. Okay, let's do this thing. Whew. So, Aman, overall thoughts on the cast. Let's just start with that before we get into our draft.
They're looking pretty. I think there's a lot of them seem sort of like green to me, because some of them have been doing drag for a long time. Quite a few of them haven't been doing it that long. I feel like, excuse me, the farther and farther we get into Drag Race, the more seasons that there are, the more there are queens that are literally on the show because they fell in love with drag because of Drag Race as opposed to already having done it. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this cast is really, really fresh and sort of I don't know, because sometimes we sort of get oh, we know the New York queens, we know the LA queens, the Chicago queens. They've been around for quite a long time. And those queens are still here, but I feel like a lot of them are kind of newer, fresher faces. So I'm sort of excited about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. They're all very young. The oldest is, I think, 31, Lady Camden. I know. I was like, that's me.
I'm 33, and now I'm sitting back being like, I'm the old lady who was watching the youngsters on Drag Race this season.
Yeah, oh my God. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was Angie when she said, yeah, I was on the bus, and my friend told me about the show. I was like, please don't say school bus. Just please don't say school bus.
Yeah, you were on the city bus going to a club because you were 24, right?
Right.
But
Aman, I think that's totally apt. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays because, it's almost like they've been studying their whole lives. If, a lot of them have been watching it for so long. So theoretically, they'd be even more prepared specifically for Drag Race because we know that, obviously Drag Race is tests a very specific set of skills that is different than kind of what you need to succeed as a drag queen in the real world or can be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any students of the show, you know what I mean? The ones that really understand how to win.
Absolutely. I mean, you think of queens like Aquaria. I mean, Aquaria was a student of the show who literally sought out people like Sharon Needles and others to like be her drag mother and her influences and that kind of thing. And also has like raw talent.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I say
No.
something that's sort of like unrelated, but not really? Because you just said her name. It should not have taken me this long, guys. And you guys can drag me. You guys can say whatever you want. Like, let me have it in the comments. Literally yesterday, for the first time, I understood the pun in Sharon Needles' name. I don't know why it never occurred to me. I don't know why. But I don't know. Like, I was talking with my friends about it yesterday, and somebody wrote her name in the chat, and I was like, oh my God, Sharon Needles.
No.
Like sharing needles. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Amon.
Oh, sweet baby Amon.
You sweet summer child.
I was so ashamed. Ashamed. I don't know why it didn't occur to me until literally yesterday. I don't know. Like, she's like such a weird queen. Like, Needles just, I don't know. It just sounded like a regular name to me. It was just like, oh, it's just a really weird name. But like,
well, you know, I have that sometimes too with when I have a gust of wind. Like everybody, like that's a stupid pun on a gust of wind. Like literally, there's no meaning to it. I just was sitting in a car, was going by Augusta, and I went, oh, Augusta Wind. Oh, that's a pun name. If I were to be a drag queen, that would be my name. I just created that. So I understand the slow burn kind of names and that kind of thing. It's one of my greatest joys.
Slow burn, baby.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm wondering what other pun names did Amon like never, or any of us not catch on to that all of a sudden one day we'll have that aha moment.
I'm sure there's probably another one out there. I'm sure there is. I'll find it.
Okay, so Monet Exchange is supposed to be.
I didn't get that one for a long time, but that one's a little bit more obscure to me. Like, even like, because she got into an argument with Bob about that. They were like, because Bob was like, it's really not a clear pun, Monet. It's just like, it is, because like you go to the money exchange. And Bob is like, no one calls it that anymore, though. Like, you don't know what a money exchange is.
Bob and Monet's relationship is one of my all-time favorite things to watch in this world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, look, sibling rivalry is of course the perfect name for their pod. Like it just amazing. Totally fits. Anyway. Okay. Fabulous. Let's not delay this any longer. Let's jump into our draft and talk about some of these queens specifically. So we randomized the draft order before we began. Beth will be picking first, then Amon, and then myself, and then we'll do a snake draft for the order. So perfect. Beth, kick things off. Who's your first pick?
Well, listen, I am grateful, thankful, and blessed. Yes, I'm in my parents' house to be going first here, which means I have a lot of pressure. And I want to try to choose. I've already done a draft, so I want to choose different queens than I've chosen for that one if I can help it. So the first queen that I would like to choose is someone who I'm slightly obsessed with. And by slightly, I mean majorly obsessed with. And I didn't have the chance to choose last time. I'm obsessed with Bosco. And I would like to choose Bosco. I have seen Bosco perform on various different social media platforms. I love this look. It's like simple and understated, but at the same time, like I get like baby blue Maleficent like vibes. Like I don't know why, like from like the dress. Bosco's interview, I literally cracked up laughing the entire time. Just like that really quick wit that's dry and like you kind of get the pun like 3 seconds too late and she's already moved on. And then you're just consistently laughing and like hanging on her every word. Like I think that she's a huge threat in this competition. I can see her doing really, really well in pretty much every category. So I'm excited to see what Bosco brings. And I love those eyebrows. I love, what did she say in her interview about the eyebrows? She's like, if you're going to be like any other white twink up on stage, like have different eyebrows or something like that, which I thought was hysterical.
Yeah. It was like sets her apart from any other twink doing drag, which I thought was, so funny. No, I totally had the exact same reaction to Bosco that you did. It was the moment when she was telling the story about where the name comes from, which was her childhood dog. He's not using it anymore. I was like, oh, you're really funny. And then the interview went on and I was like, oh yeah, Rue is really, I think, gonna like you. And I think that Bosco is really gonna excel at a lot of the comedy challenges and then looks fabulous to boot. So it's solid pick, I think, Beth.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I think she was definitely one of my first picks as well because I'm a big fan of like the dry humor, the quick wit. That's like my gig. So, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
No,
That
no, it's
disclaimer.
okay.
I'm literally recovering from COVID right now. I'm like dying, but I'm still here. Anyway, I also I love the blood love things that she has going on. That's really alluring to me. So yeah, I think it's a good pick. Good pick.
And Bosco is, I can't believe I'm about to say this, one of the older queens at 28 from Seattle, Washington. And I do think that that element of experience is going to be super helpful. And just honestly, not even experience per se, but just a confidence that comes from having, worked on your craft and been, able to perform and do a lot of different elements of drag. And so I think that that's going to help her. Yeah, she's 28 from Seattle, Washington. This is Bosco.
And you know what? I'm putting money. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm putting money on Seattle Queens. I mean, we've had some good success with them with, Ben de la Creme, Jinx, Robbie Turner. Okay, fine.
But those Seattle Queens.
Yeah, those Seattle Queens. I don't know. I just think that Bosco, I think that she has just a really unique vibe to her. And I don't know why, but she kind of gives me, in terms of like her wit, like a Ms. Cracker vibe. And that kind of quick wit and like the roll, not like a Bianca Rolodex of hate kind of thing, but just that kind of like quick Rolodex of like, I know how to make a quick joke. And if the name of the game, which we all know, is to make RuPaul laugh, then she's got that in the bag, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, that's our first pick off the board. 13 queens remain. Aman, you are next up. Who do you want to take with your first pick in the draft?
I feel like I have two controversial options right now for my first pick.
Ooh.
And I don't know who to choose, but like I am drawn to the both of them. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Get your peck about the toe. If you know let him go. Eeny, meeny, mine. I'm gonna go with cornbread.
Yes.
Oh, cornbread.
Okay. Amazing. Let me quickly pull up Cornbread's picture. All right. So why Cornbread?
Gosh, she's just so fun and sweet and just like the charisma is there. I don't know about the talent. I don't know about the uniqueness. I don't know about that quite yet. But there's something about her personality in those interviews and the way that she carried herself in that short little clip of her in the Meet the Queens reveal. Also, by the way, what is the art direction for the reveal? Is it like 80s like arcade, or is it like Candyland? Like, what is the theme? I don't get it. Did Candyland come out in the 80s? Like, what is this? I just can't understand it.
It was both. It felt like they had two. So it's definitely an arcade theme for the video, but then the promos were all Candyland from what it looked like to me.
Is like the theme like games? Is that what they're going for? Like another game within a game?
You know what? I think that we can make the theme whatever we perceive it to be.
Believe.
I haven't played Candyland in a long time. But anyway, yeah, I want to go with cornbread because I just think that she... I'm drawn to her. I feel like there's like a lot of, and I don't like to, compare people too much, but like I'm getting like I feel like she is a more palatable version of a Silky, if that makes sense. Like I just feel like she sort of like knows who she is, and she seems very humble, and I think Davon is friends with Cornbread too, so that might have like influenced me a little bit. So yeah, I'm into it. I'm into some Cornbread here.
She was another queen that the name, when she told the story about how she chose her name, that also like totally made me laugh, because it was like some TV show where a woman shot her husband over cornbread, and so she was in jail or in prison, and then they called her Cornbread because of that. And so and that's what she got.
So convoluted.
I know, right? Which is amazing. I think she was another queen that also kind of got the humor element of it all. So I feel good about her chances.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this isn't a cast that I think is like heaping with comedy queens. And I think that those that can tell a joke go a long way in this season. So I would definitely put my money on Cornbread. I love her as well. If I wasn't so obsessed with Bosco, she would have been my number one choice. She was my number two.
It just feels like a
ooh.
trap. It feels like a trap for me to choose her because I just feel like she's one of those queens that you know is going to be like one of the top contenders for Miss Congeniality. She's giving me like robbed at the finale goddess type deals, but I don't know. I'm going with it. I'm going with it.
I think it's a good pick.
I think it's a good pick too. She's from LA. She's 29. I think that she has gotten a lot of really great opportunities. And so I think she's been able to be successful. I think she's going to represent LA well. And she even mentioned in her interview, she's here to play the game. And I kind of like it when someone has that attitude because I'm like, yes, you understood the assignment. Like, let's do this. So I think it's a solid pick, but if she doesn't win, she's Miss Congeniality, I think, for sure.
I'm just going to put this bit out there. I don't care if she wins or not. I want her on All Stars because if she's willing to play the game, I want to see how Cornbread playing the game. Like the real game. Really,
send her home. Send Vanilla home. Okay. Cool. Great. That does it. So first two picks off the board, Beth with Bosco and Aman with Cornbread, the snack Jeté. Is that her full name, I think?
I think so.
Okay. So I now have two back-to-back picks. The first person I'm going to start with is someone who I really like, and I think RuPaul is going to like. I'm picking Angie or Angeria Paris Van Michaels but you can call her Angie. She's from Atlanta, I think 26 maybe. She says that she's one of the queens that's been watching since season 1, episode 4, because she didn't know it existed before that. Just to clarify. She gives me a little bit of like Heidi in Closet kind of vibes. Maybe it's just the whole country stick of it all, but she feels like someone who's just unintentionally funny. And that to me is what came across in the interview. She's known as a great makeup artist, so we know this girl can paint, and she's a pageant queen. So she's got that sort of pageant polish to her. So I think that this is someone who could be an all-around contender.
I think so too. I think for whatever reason, her voice does not match her face to me. Like when she started speaking in that interview, I was like, oh, I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah, country as hell.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. But yeah, no, I think, and she can paint for the gods. Like her face, like she looks like a doll. And like all of her looks so far. And I think this is a good pick because I feel like she is definitely. I feel like she'll be another cult of personality, and I think that you're right. I think RuPaul will be attracted to somebody like this that sort of has like their own little, like Heidi in Closet upside. So I see that.
Angeria was my top choice for my other draft. So I really, really like her. And part of the reason why I went for her in the other draft was not only because I loved the look from head to toe, the makeup, the hair. I love her posing, all that kind of stuff. But I just have this feeling like I have a feeling she's going to be the pageant queen that breaks the mold a little bit. I just had that feeling from her interview as well. Like she is a pageant queen, but when you hear her talk, she doesn't sound like a pageant queen. So there's something there that I think is really interesting about her. I really can't wait. Like she has the polish, but she also has that something else that is, I don't know. Like I said, I think it just breaks the mold. And also you can't have a name like Angeria Paris Van Michaels and not be able to back that up. I'm sorry. Like she's got talent. I can tell.
It's a very it's a name. That is a name.
It is
for sure.
Quite the name. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's a lot of strange things about me. I just feel like there's so much there, and I can't wait to get to know her over the course of the season. Because I just felt like there was untapped potential in the interview. Like I wanted to know more about her. So
absolutely.
I'm excited for her. Okay, so with my second pick, because I get back-to-back picks, baby, I am going to go with someone who's, a bit of an oddball, which makes sense because Evie Oddly is her mother-daughter sister.
Dentist.
I am going dentist. Yes, I am going with Willow Pill for my second pick. She's a Denver queen. Gotta rep Denver. We've had in the same way we've had fabulous Seattle queens. We've had fabulous queens from Denver, all the way from Nina Flowers in season 1. And the fact that Willow Pill is Evie's drag relation, then I think that that's going to help her because she's kind of got that like added benefit of someone who's been on the show. We saw this with the House of Avalon and Gigi Good. I mean, Simone was talented anyway, but like, I think having someone who's been through the experience and kind of can prep you in certain ways, I think is going to be really, really good. And she's just a total weirdo and I love her.
I really like her too. And it's so funny because I think she looks so young. Like she looks like a demented like little doll. I don't know. Like I don't know what to say about like she's young in the face, but then you listen to her talk and you're like, "Oh, I love that she's like, I'm a bitch." Like I'm kind of here for it. Like I kind of just love everything about what she's presenting. I love this like really interesting fashion look that she gives. I love that she has a level of polish, that she has a true sense of self. But and like I don't think that she's going to be taking, even though Evie won season 11, I don't see her being like, I have so much pressure on me to do well. Like versus we had people, even like Simone, who felt that pressure. I think that Diabetes, who's also in the season, is going to feel the pressure from Crystal Method. I think that there's those queens that come on and really feel like I have to live up to what my drag relation has already brought or what my house has already brought to this show. I don't get that from her. And I think that that's what's actually going to make her successful, is that she's focusing on just being herself and having fun. Like that's the sense I get from her.
I love her look here. I think it's so just like I like the way that she described her drag, and that she was like, my drag is adorable but like also psychedelic. Like I like that it's in that line between like cutesy artsy fartsy but also kind of like with an edge to it. And I appreciate that. I think that's like a really unique point of view. I love the story behind her name when she says that like Willow comes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer character, and then Pill because she takes a lot of pills and they're all delicious. I'm like, what are the pills for? I want to know what you're taking them for. Like, tell me more. So I think that she's really just, I feel like she's a girl that like kind of like knows who she is and is like very self-assured. And I love that she was not surprised at all by the fact that Evie oddly won. She was like, girl, I knew she was gonna win. Like, y'all just didn't know, but I knew she was gonna win. Like, she was weird, but she was gonna win. So I think that I'm interested to see what happens with her. And I also love the fact that she was just like, yeah, like Evie is my drag mother, daughter, dentist. like she's just, I think she's gonna be good.
Yeah, the one thing that she talked about was her chronic kidney disease, and so I'm just hoping that doesn't negative. Like I'm hoping that she is able to have her health be top notch when she's going through the competition, because like God forbid anything happen. Like I just want to just take care of her.
No,
she's
that's
so tiny
fair, because if there's one thing that RuPaul's Drag Race likes to do, it's like capitalize on like the physical ailments of their contestants and add it to their edit. So
absolutely,
not be surprised.
Yeah,
especially during COVID times, the way that they.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
get Tamisha Iman to really just have that only be her storyline when clearly Tamisha had so much more.
Yeah, great. Clearly. Yeah, we're gonna be podcasting on the Tamisha Iman network next. Yeah, if you didn't keep up with all the Tamisha Iman drama, like that's literally a whole podcast.
Oh my god, that was such a journey. That was so fun.
That was
so fun.
It's a moment. I have a couple of friends who ordered merch from her and never got it, and have like tried so hard to get their money back, and it took them like a year, and like DM'd her, and she was just like, you supported me, like thank you. And they're like, no, I want my money back. And she's like, you're not getting your money back. Like it's just like so awful. Like it's
Scamisha Iman.
Scamisha. No.
What a roller coaster from like being everyone was obsessed with her to and then like all of these controversies and whatnot. Anyway.
And it was all like self-inflicted too.
Yeah, like nobody.
No. Yeah. Oh, that's wild. All right. Well, the last thing I'll say about Willow is that she genuinely hates people. And that was the moment I was like, yes, I agree.
I identify.
I will pick you. Okay. So those are my 2 picks. So we are back to Amon with his second pick. So you already have cornbread. Who do you want to go with as your second choice?
You know, I'm gonna go for the other controversial opinion here.
Oh no.
I want to do it. I don't think that this person is going to win, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I like drama.
I like genuinely don't know who you're gonna go with. I'm like,
I'm
who
excited.
is this person?
I'm on bated breath.
Oh, I'm trying to decide. No, I want to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
I'm gonna go with Maddie Morphosis.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Look, big elephant in the room. Let's not bury the lead. Straight guy in the competition, doing drag. Lots of people have lots of opinions about it, whether or not he should be in this space. To me, I don't give a shit. If he likes to do drag and he's talented at it, then who the hell cares? If he is an ally, that's all that really matters to me. Now, I understand that as gay people, you know, sometimes like we create our own little spaces. As queer people, we create our spaces and we want to be protective of them because, you know, we seek refuge in these spaces. So to have someone that's not of the community come in and like, you know, claim some space, I get the frustration. I do. But I feel like we have to pick and choose our battles here. And I don't think that Maddie Morphosis is someone that we need to be fighting with. I don't. And I think he represents a lot of what the show already stands for. And everybody's acting like this is like such a weird thing to happen. And I'm like, y'all all sat there and watched Celebrity Drag Race where they brought on a bunch of straight men and made them do drag. So like,
yeah,
how is this any different? This guy actually does it like for a living. Yeah. So I'm about it. Like I think that he's sweet. I think he's kind. I like the fact that he's like here to. I knew he knows that it's going to cause some drama, and he still did it. I think it's sort of brave in a sense, and so yeah, I'm here for it. He's like, you know, I like what he said about gender and everything. Like, look, I just want to be here so that other straight guys can see, like, because I know that there are straight people out there that watch drag shows and they kind of picture themselves trying to do it, but they would never do it because they're straight. But like, who cares? Just do it. Be yourself. So. That's what I'm here for.
There's nothing more queer than expressing yourself in a way that goes against conventional like stigmas and what we like societally construct as saying like this is what you have to do in order to perform a gender or your sexuality and that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that Maddie's queer because obviously he's not, but I do love that clearly from what I'm gathering, and if there's evidence to suggest otherwise, I mean, bring it forward. But this is somebody who genuinely cares about being respectful of the space that they're in, understanding that even though they're performing in it and they're engaging in this culture, that there's still a guest in the space as well. And there's, I literally saw somebody say, there are straight people who are upset about him being in this because they're like, who are like allies to the LGBTQIA community. They're like, this isn't right and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, but you're also the same people who are bringing like bachelorette parties into our spaces and like taking over and like not being respectful. At least Maddie's like being respectful. So I think that there's a lot to be said there. I have a hard time believing that RuPaul would just send Maddie home first. So I think that this is actually a really good pick. I think that from a reality production standpoint, I see Maddie sticking around for a little while. Also, I have to say, I love this look from head to toe. I think it looks really great. I love the paint. I'm really excited to see, you know, what the straight cis male lens of drag looks like. At the end of the day, drag is about entertainment. And it's right now a form of queer entertainment. And we need to pay homage to all of the different kinds of queer people who have created drag that we know, modern drag, but drag is for everybody. And I'm excited to see what Maddie brings to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Maddie is someone who is incredibly artistic in the vision that they bring, at least based on the few looks that I've seen, and is 26 years old, comes from Fayetteville, Arkansas, where they talk about how you have to drive like 3 hours for a show for $41 and 3 drink tickets or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And this is someone who is not like they actively want to be in this space, right? Because if they're willing to put that much effort into it to drive 3 out, like, okay, you really want to do this. I'm excited to see what Maddie brings. I mean, we also had on this past season of Drag Race UK our first AFAB queen who was competing. So clearly, you know, Drag Race is now willing to take some more to open up a little bit more the space and willing to let people in. And I think that was pretty successful in UK. And so I'm hoping that Maddie also in a similar way is able to be successful on this season.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you did it, Aman. You picked Metamorphosis.
I did it.
You did it. Okay. Do we need to explain what her name means? Metamorphosis.
Did she give us a story behind her name? I think I forgot.
No, I don't know. I'm just telling you. Okay. So
it's just a pun on metamorphosis.
It's metamorphosis. It's just, yeah.
There we
go. All right.
I think we should just make this a habit of this is what the name means. This is the pun, just so none of us get embarrassed.
Right, exactly. We'll all explain
halfway
it,
through the season.
Cornbread came.
Oh, you're making fun of me. I didn't realize.
Oh yeah. Now we're gonna Aman. Now we're gonna have to explain not only the name but also when we're making fun of you. So.
Oh my God, I am so out of it right now.
Yeah, and then also sarcasm. All of that we'll be sure to indicate. Okay, Beth, back to you. Now you have 2 picks here. Ooh. So, and this is gonna round out your team. So who do you want to go with?
Oh goodness. Okay, so I know who my first pick is for sure.
Okay.
I am choosing Lady Camden. I think Lady Camden, in my opinion, came across as one of the most polished queens.
Well, she is at the ripe old age of 31.
Yeah. So I definitely think that age is going to be an experience. I think at this point is going to be something, I don't know why, like exactly what you were saying in the beginning of this podcast, Aman, about them being kind of green, this cast overall. I really think that we, of course, have had a lot of young winners. I just have a feeling that experience is going to be the thing that sets queens apart. And I just see Lady Camden. And it's just not only an age thing. I also think if you have the perspective of a couple different cultures of drag, I think that is really helpful in your Rolodex of being able to do and pull from different aesthetics and such. So I think that Lady Camden is going to be really interesting as a former Brit who lives in the United States. And I'm excited to see what she does. I thought that she was really engaging in her interview. I found myself wanting to learn more about her. And I really love this like androgynous kind of outfit that she has. So I'm excited to see what else she brings to the competition. I just think that there's something about her that was really captivating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she, I think, moved to the United States to join a ballet company, and our other ballet dancer on the show, Brooklyn, obviously very successful. So this will definitely help with the dance challenges. Although she did say that she would be nervous for a roast or some type of comedy challenge, which does make me a little nervous.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a showgirl. I love the fact that her dad was a nightclub owner, so she literally grew up in the nightlife and seeing all types of people. Also, she's like, I had a very gay upbringing. I was like, yes, as you should, girl. So yeah, I think that's going to lend itself to a lot of, the performance aspect. But yeah, I feel like she's definitely foreshadowing. I feel like she probably makes it to Snatch Game, and it's a horrible thing. So I can't wait to see what she tries to do. I wonder if it's the episode that sends her home.
Yeah. Well, look, the good news is she's a dancer. So if she does end up in a lip sync, that's what saved Evie and Brooklyn, right? And neither of them were sent home. So if she can turn it, then I think hopefully that can help her get over any little roadblocks or hiccups. And I think she's someone who also could be unintentionally funny. Like her story about the cane when she talked about how she's like, it didn't fit. So I just lied that I hurt my ankle. Like that's funny,
Yeah.
So if we see that side of her, I think she could end up doing all right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that she's somebody who I think dancers are so they're accustomed to not having to be in their head. They have to be in their body. And if she can shake that getting in your headness. I think that she can pull off any challenge, even if it's something that she's a little weaker at. And like you said, I think that I can't wait to see her lip sync. I haven't seen her lip sync before. So I think it'll be interesting to see what she pulls out.
Yeah. Okay, so I can't do math. We have 4 on our team because that's 12. So this is not your last pick, Beth. I am a genius. I know. So let's go with your third pick, not your final pick.
I apparently am going with another oldie here who's at the ripe age of 31. I'm going to go with Deja Sky.
Okay,
I really thought Deja, I didn't know, I liked the outfit, but I wasn't quite sure what to think. And I loved Deja's interview. I really think that Deja is going to have, what I worry about with her is that she's going to be in her head a lot, but she's just so smart. Like the way that she talks about herself and drag and the competition and everything was just so like intelligent and like she seems like she's emotionally intelligent as well. Like I just have a hard time believing somebody like that doesn't do well in the competition. Like someone who's able to separate herself from, any conflict or from or like kind of like pull herself out and kind of give herself a pep talk, to really think about things on a big scale, but also think about the little details. Plus, I love the way she paints her face. And I think that I think this is just going to be a really interesting queen to watch. And I look forward to seeing her. I don't think that she'll be like a narrator of the season or anything like that. But I think that she has just a really, I don't know, just like sweet personality. And I want to see her do well. Like I'm really rooting for her. So I am choosing Deja.
Mm-hmm. She mentioned a few times, don't put me in a box, or like, I don't put myself in a box. And I always think that that's really interesting when queens mention that, because I think maybe she had to fight against being put in a box. And I don't know if, she talks about like, oh, well, she's a bigger queen and bigger queens can still dance. So I don't know if it's like those types of assumptions, but I think she's going to come in with something to prove. And she's going to want to show that she can do all of these different, types of challenges that Drag Race throws at the queens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think she's great too. And the fact that she made that look stunning, so clearly she's a designer, honey. And look, I mean, you're always gonna find a friend in me if you are a Beyonce fan, and the fact that she got her name from Deja Vu, one of Beyonce's best singles. Like you had me, sis. So yeah, and I like that she's like very much like I'm right in between camp and comedy. Like I'm like right in that sweet spot. And yeah, so I think she's gonna be lots of fun. So I'm excited to see. And I feel like I think she's like the second one that mentioned how they can't do splits. So I'm like, a lot of y'all can't do splits. So it's like, what y'all be doing? But she was like, she can dance the house down boot. So I guess we'll if she does have to lip sync, I'll see. I guess if the split is not like the big grand moment for her, I wonder what will be. So
yeah, it'll be something good. I can tell that she's got a trick up her sleeve. So
well, I mean, she's not afraid to share as well. The whole like, what's the weirdest thing about you? She's like, I love anime porn.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, sure. Like,
oh, it was so good. I'm just sitting here minding my business, watching some Drag Race, Meet the Queens on YouTube, playing some Switch, Animal Crossing to be exact. And all of a sudden, anime porn blasts out, the name, not actual anime porn. And my parents and my aunt turned and looked at me and I went,
oh no.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. So
just ignore
good
me.
Times.
It's fine. Okay, great. So we are back to Aman. Who would you like for your third pick in the draft?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm not being strategic at all this time around, but I don't care. I'm going with my heart.
Yay! It's the best way, anyway.
Who is going to go
loving?
with Georges.
Georges. Okay, interesting choice. I'm excited to hear. What about Georges that just drives you crazy?
I feel like she's going to be the villain of the season, and I love it. I'm into it. Like, they asked her, "Do you like drama?" Like whenever someone says, "If you don't just say no, then you do," she said like, "I don't think so. Like I just, like if people don't like me, I'm like, oh my god, you don't like me? What's going on?" Like she is going to stir the pot, and I'm here for it. So
very much that. Am I the drama? I don't think
like,
I'm
is
the
it
drama.
me? Am I the
Yeah.
new queen bee? So yeah, I'm into it. I feel like she's going to just really, serve us some good diary room sessions. Dancer, obviously gorgeous. She's small, but she's mighty, as she says. And I think, I think she's one of those villains that has like, she can actually back it up. So I feel like I'm interested to see her in this season.
Yeah, she's young. She's 21 from San Antonio, but now lives in Nashville. And I sort of got the same feeling. She's mostly done a lot of pageant drag, and I think that so there's going to be some element of polish, although she is very young. But she's been doing drag. She dropped out of high school and has been doing drag for 6 years.
That was another
I think
thing.
is what she
Dropping
said.
out of high school is like
that's wild.
That's intense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I really thought that she had a really entertaining energy about her. So I also just putting on my like production hat, and I'm just sitting here being like, if she's bringing the drama, there's no way they caught her in the first couple episodes either.
Right?
If you're going from strategy on like a production standpoint, I go from there. I didn't know if I really liked this outfit, to be perfectly honest. So, and of course, this is the one thing that I'm getting to understand their aesthetic to a certain extent. So I'm excited to see what Georges brings. But I did kind of feel like, I don't know, there is just something about her that there's other queens that when I watched them, I went, I don't know if there's enough polish there. I think that there is polish here to a certain extent. So I think that I can see her sticking around for a while.
Well, we'll see, especially if she's creating the drama, then I think she'll make for some Georges TV.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I have 2 picks. This will round out my team because math. So with my first
STEM.
pick, I know, right? It's like I have a PhD or something. So I'm going to pick this queen because it was the video that we watched to prepare for this was like an hour-long video with individual interviews, but the first 10 minutes were like just announcing the queens and that they were walking. And she was the one that immediately stood out to me just simply from the runway walks. And this is Carrie Colby is who I'm going to pick. Her wig was just, I was obsessed with it. I thought that she was absolutely gorgeous. And then she had this like an absolutely stunning look in the interview as well. So for me, it was just, I think she has such a gorgeous aesthetic. I am obsessed with the way that she looks. She talks about that she's got this broad interest in drag, a lot of different drag elements. I love hearing that from her. And she was the one queen that was like, I have this broad vision for the future of like what the future of drag is going to look like. And she wants to be at the forefront of that. That it's like, that sort of big picture thinking is something that could be absolutely detrimental to her because she could be in her own head. But I love that type of thinking from her because I'm hoping that it means that she will be thinking very forward and will be willing to push boundaries, hopefully in a way that is palatable enough for RuPaul. But regardless, this is for sure a heart pick as well as a little bit of a head pick, but definitely a heart pick. I love her. She's so pretty. So I picked Carrie Colby.
Go ahead. I'm on. Sorry.
I was vacillating between Carrie and Georges because I feel like both of them are sort of like, they're both from Texas. It's very, very pretty. They're both very aware that they're pretty. And they both like sort of like made the similar point that like they're not stuck up. Like people automatically assume that they are, holier than thou, but they're really not. They just, like to have fun and be gorgeous. And she's like, I think people are going to expect just like rainbows and glitter from me, which is true, but I know how to get down and dirty as well. And so I think she's going to be one that annoys a lot of people. I think I can see her like winning a bunch of challenges and people are like, oh my God, like I can see another like Aja, oh, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you look like Linja Van. Like I can see that happening with her. So
I
Okay.
love this. It's not obviously Hello Kitty, but I could feel like this is like the Hello Kitty challenge from season 7. Like I'm getting that kind of vibe of like the different
mhm.
kind of like you had to use all these different like heart acclimate or like little like things on your dresses or whatever. I think that she's pretty and I think that she has a really bold energy and I'm really excited about that. But I'm worried that this competition is going to swallow her. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm worried about. I think that she is so beautiful though. I
Mhm.
like and like those legs, I'm just like sitting here like looking at the legs like, "Ooh, girl, they're like
Yeah.
smooth as hell." Like, yeah, they go on
Yeah,
so
I no,
Took
I
fast.
totally
inspiration from the Kardashians, and you can definitely see it in her style.
Absolutely. And she's from LA. So I mean,
mhm.
she's definitely got that kind of Western influence on drag and beauty and that kind of thing. So I'm excited to see her take on that in the competition.
I'm hoping because I totally hear what you're saying, Beth, with some of the concerns. I'm hoping that just this blind confidence will like carry her through. Like it
I'm
doesn't
here
matter,
for it.
just be
Fake it till you
confident in
make it,
yourself.
baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what show business is anyway. So clearly if she could do that, then she's good.
Exactly. Okay, and with my last pick, I am going to take Miss Alyssa Hunter.
Good
She
choice.
is the Puerto Rican queen, 26 years old. Her name, partly inspired by Alyssa Edwards and a Miss Continental winner. So that, like, she knows her history. She obviously has a fabulous influence in Alyssa Edwards. And she won her very first pageant. So to me, I was like, oh, okay, you're that bitch. I love this. And in the same way that Amon was looking at Georges from a drama perspective, she even says my reputation is that I'm a bitch. And I'm like, okay, great. You'll be here for drama. I can get behind that. So I'm super happy that she ended up on my team.
I think my impression of her is that she will be super strong in the beginning because she's going to come in with that confidence and that like can't tell me nothing attitude. And then I can see her flaming out about midway through as she gets kind of like into the competition. And I there's a part of me that wonders, do I feel like that because of the way this production has treated Puerto Rican queens in the past? I
Oh.
don't know. And I hope that she breaks that mold because it's been a while since we've had Puerto Rican queens on the seasons, right? It's been
Mhm.
probably like 6 seasons or something like that. It's ridiculous. So I'm excited to see her come represent Puerto Rico, and I'm excited to see what drag looks like from her perspective as a Puerto Rican queen in 2020, well now 2022, but this is filmed in 2021.
Mm.
So I'm excited. She's got a lot going on in this outfit.
She
And
does.
so I just kind of feel like that matches her energy. She's got a lot going on and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, she is very self-assured. This one, I was nervous. I was nervous about this. I think she can also be another villain of the season, but I don't know if this is going to be a villain I like to see.
Uh-oh.
I don't know, but like she is all about the competition. She is ready to she's here to fight. Essentially, I mean, she said she doesn't like to, but if she needs to, then she'll do it. And I feel like she's just I think that she is coming into this competition expecting conflict, and we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
You manifest your own reality. So if you expect conflict, you'll
I do love
see
the
it.
fact that like Alyssa Edwards is her namesake, though. I think that's really cool. Whenever we have drag race queens that are referential to the show, that's always just like really cool to me. So
Mhm.
I hope she
Mhm.
does Alyssa proud.
All right. Well, we're back to you, Amon, for your last pick of the 4 remaining queens, and I'll reset the board. So we have Diabetti, Jasmine Kennedy, June Jambalaya, and Orion Story left to be picked. Which one of these queens would you like on your team, Amon? You are muted, so if you'd like to share with us. I
If
mean,
you'd
your
like to
room, I'm
share
sure,
with the
loves hearing your
class.
yeah.
I wasn't saying anything important anyway. I'm stuck between two. Do I do it? 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 Just do it, Amon. Just do it. Just do it. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm gonna go with June Jambalaya.
All right. June Jambalaya. Amon, tell us why.
Okay, so first things first, what would our drag names be if we named ourselves the way that June did? She said that her dance instructor asked her when she was born and then asked her what the last thing that she ate was. So right now, I would be February chicken wing.
Yeah, I'm March Caesar salad.
I haven't eaten today, so I'd be Augusta Wind. Ah!
Look at you.
No, but I am August, so I think I guess last night I had a brownie, so August brownie.
August brownie. Yeah, no, I think she's I like the fact that she's like, I like to doll myself up. I like to look very, very pretty, but I also don't forget where I come from. So I like to do ratchet shit as well. And I'm like, me too, sis. Like that is me to a T. I love to like make myself look preventable, but underneath this like surface and this polish, it's ratchet. So like I related to that a lot. And I feel like she's sort of like a bougie queen. And I feel like she has like standards, and I feel like she is just like, I don't know. I get like, I feel like she is not one to give up. I think she's one for the competition as well. And so that attracted me to her. So I'm feeling good about June Jambalaya. Oh my God, I picked such controversial people. Oh my God.
I love it though.
Wait,
because
what's controversial?
I don't know. I just feel like I am going for like people like the queens that are obviously there to, I don't know, what am I trying to say? I feel like I'm choosing people that like, I mean, we only had like a little like 2-minute interviews, right? But I feel like just based off of the edit that we're getting for most of my picks, I feel like they are there for
the 2-minute edit.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, obviously Maddie Morphosis is a controversial one. I feel like Cornbread is obviously one that is supposed to be like a congenial person, like, you know, a fan fave. I feel like I'm falling into like the traps of editing. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just feel like I don't feel like I was strategic at all with these picks, but I don't care. Whatever. Who cares?
Listen, you should choose people that you're like attracted to in terms of like you like their energy and such, right? And I really liked June's energy. June was probably going to be my next pick, is my last pick as well. I really like that she has a true sense of self and that she is. I kind of worry that she's going to fall into that trap that like other queens have, which is like not willing to change things about herself, but like it's not that you're, I think the Drag Race doesn't do this the best, which is like they say, oh, we don't want you to change, we want your drag to change a little bit. And I think that she's somebody that's going to be staunchly like, okay, but like not actually do that. And I have respect for that. I just don't know if that's going to make her successful in this competition. But I agree. I love everything that she had to say in her interview. I think that she's like, I think she's going to be a fun character to watch in this season.
I did like the fact that she said, I don't like to rest on what other people do, and I am one to like always try to figure like what do I think? Like what do I think hasn't been done before? Like she's very motivated by individuality. So
exactly.
I think that that's something that you definitely need in this competition. That's like one of the things, you know, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. So
and she's been going to a performing arts school or went to a performing arts school. So she's got that background as well. I think for me, why she wasn't a little bit higher on my board was that just in the interview, she came across a little bit demure to a certain extent, just like a little quieter. And not that that is not a bad thing. Absolutely at all. Right. Unfortunately, in a competition, though, where you essentially need to scream for attention, you need to make the scenes about you. You need to make everything about you. That's just like my only concern. But I'm hoping that she's got this like quiet confidence. I mean, when she was answering some of the questions, like the eating noodles with mustard, hilarious. Loved that. So I think it's a good pick. And she's absolutely gorgeous. So you know, that will help as well.
I thought the same thing as far as like, cause she's like a little soft spoken, but I was hoping, you know what, maybe it's like a little bit of like an Curious C. Davenport upside where like Curia was not very outspoken either, but she she delivered. So
yeah,
I'm hoping that that's what we're gonna get with June.
Yeah.
absolutely. Also, it's just side note, I love whatever they did in order to make her like drapes on the earrings like kind of float off on the sides. It looks
Yeah.
so cool. I love this photo.
Yeah. And how they got it symmetric, like that's just absolutely stunning.
It's so good.
All right. So, Beth, you are going to close us out here with your final pick. Who do you want?
Okay, so I actually think the last 3 picks in general are 3 that I could see like chinks in their armor in their interviews where I felt like they there wasn't maybe as much confidence, or there was just something there that made them seem like maybe this isn't their time. And I could be very wrong. We could have the winner out of these 3, like the last 3 chosen. I don't know. But I'm going to choose Diabetti because I think that she seemed the strongest in terms of her background and sense of self than the other 2 did. Diabetti is also from Crystal Methods Drag House. And so I think that with that, like I said earlier, there's going to be a certain kind of reputation to want to uphold. And I think that that is going to be what potentially brings her down. But I think that she has a really cool sense of drag, aesthetic. I think that she, like, Crystal was kind of like a slow burn in the competition. I think that she is going to need to be a faster burn than Crystal in order to do well in this season. And I think purely it's because of that kind of reputation, but also because when you look at the queens that we have, so many of them have such a strong sense of self right out the gate that if you aren't matching that energy, you're going to be in the bottom. And so I kind of feel like that's either her path or she comes out swinging and brings this like really cool alternative poppy sense of drag and like really shows us something that we haven't seen too much of on the show. So I think that she's kind of like a gamble in that sense, but I'm really excited. I think that she's excited to be on the show, and don't blame her. I think this is going to be a really cool platform for her.
Yeah, I think in the same way that having Evie as part of your family is useful to have Crystal, someone who's been on the show, who has gone through that experience. I think that that is going to be useful for her. I love the fact that her name, like she is a type 1 diabetic. And then she's like, yeah, I'm repping this full out. And the fact that she doesn't try to be perfect, I think is actually useful because I'm hoping that then that will prevent her from getting in her own head, because it's like, whatever, it's good enough. We got to move on. We don't have time, especially under the crunch that is Drag Race. So I'm cautiously optimistic for her. The nervousness about the comedy challenges is where a lot of that caution comes from.
Yeah.
But hopefully she'll be able to be successful in the season.
I appreciate that she is about the process. She likes the nitty gritty, as she said. She likes the journey, not so much the destination. I thought that the bit about her name was hilarious when she said, "I'd never really change my name. It'll always be Diabetti, but sometimes they just go by Betty, and then sometimes they just go by diarrhea if I'm gross." I'm like, okay, so you do change your name, okay? So yeah, I think she's one. I agree with you, Leon. I think she's one not to sort of take everything so seriously, and I think that you always need that sort of spirit, especially with Drag Race, because oh my god. So I'm interested. I'm interested. Not one of my picks, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Interested. Okay, well, that does it for our side of the draft. So let me recap the teams, and then we'll talk about the 2 undrafted queens, aka the audience. Wow, you guys are so lucky.
Wow, audience.
Amazing.
Look at you.
Okay, Beth, you have Bosco, Lady Camden, Deja Sky, and Diabetti. Amon, you have Cornbread, Maddie Morphosis, Georges, and June Jambalaya. And on my team, I have Angie, Willow Pill, Carrie Colby, and Alyssa Hunter. Nice. So I think these are all super solid teams. Genuinely, I think the winner could be on any one of these teams. So I think things are very much up in the air.
But is that your way of saying and not on the obvious team?
Okay, let's talk about them. Look. Okay.
I think the winner could be on any of these 3 teams.
3 teams. Ooh, no, that's so shady. Okay, look, let's talk about, so we have Jasmine Kennedy and Orion Story. Let's start with Jasmine Kennedy, who is 22 years old from New York City. Aman, thoughts about Jasmine? Why was she not on your board?
I'm like having a hard time even remembering what her interview was like.
Exactly. No. Okay. So, no. So she is New York City queen. She's the backflipping bimbo of New York City, and she's blonde, skinny. That's the biggest description that I have of her.
She kind of looks like the
She's very
Wish.com
pretty.
version of
Oh, yeah.
Aquaria.
Yeah, let me pull up her picture. That's so mean.
I mean, anytime that the edit, here I go again talking about this 2-minute edit. But I mean, wasn't she the one where like they were like cutting her interview? They were like making it seem like she drags on and talks a lot. Wasn't that the one?
Yes, that was.
Yes.
So yeah, that's probably why I didn't
Yeah.
choose her. It was like, all right, so they're portraying her as like a bit of a ditz, which is fine. Like I'm a bit ditzy, who cares? But I don't know. I guess I just wasn't. Like I'm literally having a hard time remembering anything that she said. Like I don't remember anything that she said.
Yeah, I think that that's the issue I'm having with her too. You know who she kind of reminds me of is she's kind of like aesthetically a mix of like Aquaria and who's that queen, the from Down Under, the non-binary one.
I didn't watch that.
I can't think of their name. Regardless.
Okay.
She's giving very much filler queen energy. That's what she's giving. She's giving very much who was the filler queen last season? What was her name? Joey J. That's what she's giving to me right now.
Who was the filler queen last?
The filler queen. She literally called herself a filler queen. Okay, so
it's true, but it's so funny. I think so. Here's the thing. To Jasmine's credit, to make it on Drag Race as like the New York City queen, she's got to have something to back that up. Now, my worry is that what's going to back it up is just lip syncing skills, and that's not what you want to showcase all the time on this show. So I'm hoping that, I just think that she's a little young. I think that if she had a couple more years, I think she could have been a little more ready. I just got the sense that she's like me in that I talk so much to the point where I'm like trying to convince myself of things. And like I think that that's where she was coming from.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, as she even says, she's like, I have to have a host to keep things moving, because she just like won't move things along. And then of course we get the beautiful montage of exactly that demonstrated IRL. Also, the queen you were thinking of was etc. etc.
etc. etc.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I do like in her face, she looks like a combination of those two queens to me, which I think is
I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous. I think she's only 22, and I do wonder if a little bit of that experience is gonna hold her back, but I would be happy to be wrong.
Also, I do love an upstate New York queen, so I know that she grew up in upstate New York. So like, hey,
aw, like repping a region.
I mean, she's Binghamton, so it's like southern tier, whatever. But you know, whatever. You're still here. You're upstate. You're not the city. Whatever. Cool.
Okay, well, what about Orion's Story? Let's talk about our last queen. She is 25 from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I like genuinely thought she was being held hostage at first, because she was like, my mom wants me to do drag, and so my mom told me to do drag, and I was like, do you want to be here, or like does your mom want you to be here? Is this like a stage mom kind of thing? I don't know.
This reminded me so much when I used to work in college admissions for a pharmacy school, and I'd have kids come up all the time and go, my parents want me to become a pharmacist, so I have to figure out. And I'm like, do you want to become a pharmacist? They're like, no. I'm like, do you like science? They're like, no. And I'm like, okay. I got no sense of passion for being on Drag Race, first of all. Like even like secondly of like, is she wearing makeup? Like I just like, there's so many things that I'm like,
it was definitely lighter for sure. Yeah.
Which, like, fine. I mean, that's legitimate, but it was just like an interesting thing to like, I don't know. I just felt generally this entire time I was like, did someone drop out the last minute and they just put someone in the crew, like into drag in like a fabulous dress? Because I do think this dress is really interesting.
Yeah, I love the look. I love the
It's
look
like
with
really
the glove.
cool. But were they just like, okay, well, so and so couldn't make it, and we need 14 queens for season 14. So you over there, you're gonna be on. Like, that's the sense I got, which is really mean of me to say, but like that's the sense I got out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little similarly to like how I felt about the other girl. I can't remember her name. It's crazy.
The one we just talked about.
We just talked about.
Jasmine.
Oh my God, Jasmine Kennedy.
Yeah, I just I mean her energy. I mean, she seems fine. She seems like she's actually kind of funny, but the interview just wasn't giving much. She was and not everybody has to have like a loud ass personality. They don't have to be like spewing rainbows all the time. They don't have to, but in the same breath, like I wasn't necessarily like jazzed to continue listening to what she had to say. And she did talk about her mom a lot. I'm like, okay, so like, are you doing drag for your mom, or like are you? What's going on here? Like, how many shows have you done? And then she said that she's only done like one pageant. She doesn't want to do it again because she was too much work and she's lazy. I'm like, this show was a lot of work, girl. Like, this is like the ultimate pageant. Like, what are you doing? And so
I thought the same thing. I forgot she said, and she was like dead serious. She was like, I'm lazy. I'm like, you know that this show literally that doesn't fly, right? Like you got to put in work and effort and
lots of stuff.
Yeah,
time,
he's
money,
giving me a lot of
effort,
first boot energy.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe it's like a shtick. That's like the thing, and then she'll be fine. I like genuinely. I was like, do you even want to be here? Like, well, but the most passion I saw was when she was talking about how she's like, yeah, the thing that I would want is to be able to shoot lasers out of my eyes so I could cook food. That was like the most passion I saw. I was like, I mean, a fair goal. Like, I love that, but not exactly the best for Drag Race, perhaps. If that's what you're most passionate
What's your
about.
Drag Race goal? I want to cook food with my eyes.
With lasers out of my eyes.
I just, you know who she gives me energy of is Sasha Bell from season 7. That kind of just like, I'll never forget. Like I always, whenever I think of Sasha Bell, just her entrance going, say hello to my little friend. Boom. And she's like shooting those fake machine guns. And it's just like excited to have the platform and to be there, but like has no sense of what they got themselves into. Like that's what I get from her.
I mean, that being said, I do love this look as well. So she looks fabulous. So that's why it was also confusing because I was like, this outfit is so gorge. How like you should want to be here. Did your mom make your outfit? Did your mom dress you? Like, anyway, so many questions. But don't worry, audience.
Is your mom RuPaul?
It's your mom, maybe. You have both Jasmine and Orion on your team. So, yay! Good job,
audience.
You're gonna kill it, audience.
Great. All right. So that does it. We have talked about all 14 queens, talked a little bit about the season, and I think we are ready for the premiere, which is going to be on the 7th.
Friday, baby.
Yes, this Friday, depending on when you're listening to this, hopefully before, but whatever. Anyway,
I wish like COVID wasn't a thing so I could like go to a gay club and watch.
I know. I live in New York City. This is my first time living in New York City for Drag Race season.
Thank you, Omicron. Wear your masks and get vaccinated, and then we can all go to the gay bar together. It's all we want. It's all we want. All right, that does it here for us. Beth, where can people find you on social media? What else are you up to?
You can find me at AugustaWind11 on all my social media, including Twitch. And I am pretty much just up to this. And we will be also releasing the last Dragula podcast later this week as well. We plan on recording that tomorrow, which will be fun. But Aman and Jeremy Carey and I will be back to not only talk about the finale, but just like our favorite moments from this season. So that should be a lot of fun.
And Aman, what about you? Where can people find you on social media? What are you up to?
You can find me at Aman Adwin on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Just this is pretty much it for now. Check out the choir room. Our friends Matt Liguori and Matt Gagan are covering High School Musical. So if you're a High School Musical freak, go check it out over there. Yeah, that's about it.
And I got to guest a couple weeks ago. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Beth was on the choir room. Yes, we covered Bash as a Stephen Sondheim tribute to the late great Stephen Sondheim. So yeah, check that out as well.
Perfect. And you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP. This is also my gig. Got a little bit of a break from Masked Singer Survivor, but we got some Celebrity Big Brother coming back at some point soon.
Oh,
so
yeah. I keep forgetting about it.
I know. But for now, just covering the Drag Race beat and excited to see all these queens beat their faces. Okay, that does it for us. We are out of here. Oh shoot, what is am I supposed to promo anything? Join the Patreon. I'm doing my job as a really great host. I'm so good at this. Okay. That's it. I don't even remember my sign-off line. Whatever.
Thanks to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes.
Okay. Barbara's going to do it for me. Yes, thank you. Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes for all of the fabulous editing and putting together all of this crazy mess. And I was going to say we'll check you out at your next day, but that's the B&B sign-off line. So anyway, we'll be out of here. We'll be back next week. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.